Word.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to
this
Oddvice.
podcast.
This podcast is called Oddvice.
And it's a podcast.
It's a podcast. We are a little tiny bit tired. Just gonna roll off with that. I feel like we start a lot of podcasts like this, but we're just gonna be real with you guys.
Well, okay, so we had a very productive weekend.
Such a good weekend. And preface, no alcohol was involved.
Yeah.
That was already why it felt like a good weekend, because we weren't hungover at any point.
Nope.
Like we've been partying a lot, and like it felt good to kind of reel it in. We
For
got
sure.
so much done for Oddvice,
podcast
for you guys.
Right. We just did a photo shoot.
We did a fun photo shoot with Nezrin and Sammy, and then yesterday we also recorded 2 episodes. Like it just feels good to get back in the swing of things. It feels so good.
So it's a good kind of tired.
Oh yeah, no, great tired. Like
right.
I'm stoked. What else? Oh, last night we watched the second of Fear Street 1978.
76, 78?
I think it's 8. I remember like 8.
Oh, 78. Yeah.
Yeah, 1978. Have you guys watched it? If you don't know what Fear Street is, it's like a 3-part horror movie series on Netflix.
J.L. Stein?
R.L. Stein.
R.L. Stein.
So the author of
Goosebumps.
Yeah, it's definitely like, now that we connected who the author is, you could
It
totally
makes sense.
It makes so much sense. So the first one is set in 1996. The second one is set in 1978, and the third one is set in 1666.
Yeah.
666, scary. No spoilers. We won't go into it. But the first one I hated.
Oh, really?
Like, okay, hate's a really strong word. I didn't like it. It just
I loved it.
It was a little corny for me. It did not feel like 96.
I appreciated the corniness. That's what made it feel 90s to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I get that, but the visual and like the fashion did not seem nostalgic to me.
Yeah.
It was a little like, I'm gonna wear an Iron Maiden shirt to look retro. Like, that's
right.
A little gimmicky.
Yeah.
But the reason I am even more not a fan of the first one is because now that I've watched the second one was so well done.
So well done.
And I mean, I wasn't even alive in 78, but like, obviously we know the aesthetics of the years, and they nailed that, like, summer camp vibe, high-waisted shorts, tube socks, like, they nailed it. Again, no spoilers, so we won't go into it, but it was really good. But what we're getting to here, guys, is
so the second movie, what we watched last night, was set at a summer camp, and we're like, yo, we want to go back to summer camp.
But not just go back, like, we want to be counselors.
Camp counselors, you guys. So
we were thinking a little bit, and we were like, is it legal to be a camp counselor at 26? Like, doesn't that seem like a little old?
I don't think it'd be illegal.
Well, like, we'll probably have to get some, like, at least CPR certified.
Right.
I don't know. Let us know if, like, you know any camps that are in need of counselors, because, like, we want to do it.
We would love to, like, spend a summer and do that.
I am more than willing to give up my free time to go be a camp counselor.
Oh, it'd be so much fun.
But what if it turns into a murder
movie?
Oh my God, again with the hiccups.
Yeah,
I need to keep a bowl of Pepto around here.
Like a mint bowl, but it's Pepto. Cute.
Oh my God, speaking of bowls of things, so we usually have a little cup full of lollipops on our, what's it called? Coffee table.
Yeah.
And I have like one every night. It's like my thing lately. And my dog Link loves them. Like, she looks at me.
We give the dogs like some licks.
Just a couple licks. They're like organic, like they're really like clean lollipops. And Link is loving her lollipops. So it's usually on the coffee table, and literally right before we came here, I went upstairs to like go freshen up before coming here, and I'm not even halfway up the stairs yet, and she's front paws up on the table.
She's been getting really bold.
She's a sneaky girl.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was mad at us today for being gone all day.
Probably.
Or what, because like we came home for just like a quick hour to switch it up, but she had a full lollipop in her mouth.
Oh my God.
She hadn't unwrapped it yet, but I got eye contact with her. I said, Link, drop it. And she just like froze. She didn't drop it until I walked up and I put my hand like an inch into her mouth, and she just like slowly opened her jaw, and it just like
like she knew.
Yeah, she knew. But I was like,
so now we can't keep the lollipops on the coffee table.
No, not at all. Bad girl. What else?
So we worked with our friend Nezrin today.
Oh my God.
Okay, so the second
Oh God. Okay, yeah, story time.
we have a little bit of a story time. The second we got out of the car, she like looks at me and she goes, "Hey girl," or she goes, no, her hey bestie.
Yeah,
It's so
hey
cute.
bestie.
Hey, but she goes, "Hey bestie, it's been a minute since I saw you passed out on Lauv's couch." And I
So
was
give some backstory of this first.
So
The last time we saw Nezrin.
the last time we saw Nezrin was at Tana's birthday party, and we went to, I think, God, like it was like a series of 3 house parties that we had gone to.
Yes, it was her Airbnb that she got for the party.
Right. And
then this middle house that we'll get to in a sec, and then the third house was Tana's actual house.
So this middle house, we, up until like 4 hours ago when we saw Nezrin, we completely thought that this house that we had went to after Tana's birthday was just like some random person's
Hollywood house,
like Hollywood Airbnb. And at that party, you were hitting it off with this guy. Mm-hmm. And I was tired, so I went and took a nap on the couch downstairs. And it was like, party was still bumping around me.
It was like prime of the night.
Right.
You're like, I'm out.
Well, there's a really good picture of me. We'll put it up.
We'll put it on our Patreon.
We'll put it up. I'm literally just like laying passed out on the couch, and it's like one of those really big couches, and it's downstairs. And I think, I'm pretty sure a majority of the party was down in that room at one point.
The DJ was down there.
Right.
That was the only part of the party we were ever in.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, you just like, she was so not sprawled, but so comfortable that like nobody was even sitting on the couch either. Like,
no, everyone knew like I needed that nap.
Let this person sleep.
Well, and that was the thing. Like, you were getting on with this guy. Like, I knew the rest of the night was I knew we were going to keep going. So I was like, let me take advantage of this moment, get in a quick nap, and then I'll be good to go for the rest of the time.
You're like a mother of a toddler. Like, I'm like your toddler, right? And I'm occupied with like someone else. You're like, okay, I'm just going to go shower and like freshen up.
No,
take a nap.
literally.
And it worked because we stayed up till 6 a.m. We didn't get home till like
literally like
hours.
6:30 or 7.
Oh my God. I'm literally still tired from that night.
Well then,
carry on.
So we ended up going to Tana's house after that, and we're all sitting in her backyard, like literally the sun's coming up, and we're all kind of just like vibing,
I
starting
like a
to
crackhead.
Right. We're like starting to sober up, and we're sitting there all chatting, and I'm talking to this guy. He's like sitting there next to me on the ledge of the pool, and we're like totally just like having a really good conversation for probably like 25-30 minutes, and then I realize that it's Lauv after the fact, and I'm like, okay, dope, like he's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
I got to like sit and have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And then when I find out this morning that I fucking passed out on his couch,
full circle moment.
Literally full circle moment. I was just like, okay.
It was already a funny memory and a funny photo to have, but now that we know,
now the context of it,
hilarious. I hope it's funny for you guys. Another kind of weird thing that happened at that house. I had a caramel apple pop.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I dropped it on the carpet.
And it got stuck.
So that means he had to deal with it.
So Lauv, I'm sorry that I passed out on your couch.
And sorry about the caramel apple pop stain in the living room. It was a fun party though. You're a great host. You're a great host.
You're so sweet.
So sweet. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Let's get into song of the day because we also have a hefty episode.
We do.
What's your song of the day?
My song of the day is called Talk Me Out of It by Olivia Holt. Olivia Holt, I found this song on Spotify just randomly. And Olivia Holt is actually one of the main actresses in the show called Cruel Summer, which I've been trying to get you to watch.
I know, I need to.
You gotta watch it. It's shot so cool, and it really good story.
I can start it tonight.
Yeah, start it.
I will.
Anyway, it's a good show, and turns out she's a singer too, and I love her song. So.
And she's good?
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, obviously.
Right.
Do you know she writes her shit?
I don't know.
Not that makes her any less of an artist or anything. I'm always curious because you never know nowadays.
Right.
Like, do you do both or you just do one? I don't know. My song of the day is Hangover Sunday by Christian French. We actually just listened to it on the way here on one of my like curated Spotify playlists, but we will make sure to add these songs to our playlist for Oddvice, our favorite songs season 2 on Spotify and Apple Music. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my infamous Cautious Clay shirt. My one and only true love.
It's vintage now. It's season 1 vintage.
Right. And you know what? I bought it like super oversized thinking it was going to shrink, and it hasn't shrunk yet.
No, yeah, it's a gown. It's a muumuu.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, so I've been trying to get it to shrink, but yeah, I love it.
That's good.
Also, my Central Perk socks. Fan of Friends.
Old Navy?
Yes. Back at it again with the Old Navy socks.
Wait. These are damn near Old Navy. Oh my god, yeah, they're Mario 1-Up socks. And then my pants are men's pants from ASOS. And then my shirt, I feel like it doesn't come through too yellow on camera.
It's a little yellowy.
I like it. It's like a little like cheesecloth texture.
Yeah.
It's cheesecloth. And it's from White
like
Fox.
Almost sweater.
Yeah, but like thin.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I like it. And that's what we're wearing today. Okay.
Should we kind of get into it?
I think we should get into it.
So
as you can tell by the title,
we're talking about breakup shit.
Yeah, we're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna finally dive into breakup shit. This is like the most requested episode since day one. You know, up until this point, it's been on the list of what we want to do, but for months now we're like, how do we tackle it? It's such a big topic that could take, I mean, it could be its own podcast in itself, its own literal podcast genre in itself. So we didn't know how to tackle it for so long, and we were just like, let's answer questions. So we asked you guys on Instagram to send us specific questions or parts of breakups that you want us to touch on. So this is going to be kind of Q&A style. We will elaborate deeply on every single one. It won't be like too quick or anything. But we just got to dive in. Yeah. I guess for some background, how many relationships have you been in? Let's build our credibility real quick.
Okay, I've been in 2 like hefty long-term serious relationships.
Same.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. 2 heartbreaks.
Yes. 2 heartbreaks.
2 heartbreaks.
A little
each.
bit of dating in between.
And a little bit of like small heartbreak here and there, but like nothing, like 2
full
bad,
committed,
ouchy heartbreaks.
Yep.
That shit hurted.
We kind of went through them at the same time.
We did. I don't know how I would have gone through it without you. I'll tell you that right now.
How long have you been single for?
I have been single since January of 2020. So a year and a half.
Okay. And I've been single since December of 2018.
1, 2,
long time.
3. So 3 years? 2.5.
December 2.5.
2.5 years. Yeah. So do you believe in the? I feel like we'll probably get into this. People are gonna ask like, how long does it take to get through a breakup? Do you believe in the it takes half the time you were in the relationship to get over the breakup?
No.
Isn't that interesting? I don't believe in it either.
No, I don't believe in any of the time shit.
No.
Because I feel like once you really are in love with someone, I don't think you can ever fully fall out of love with anyone.
No.
I will always have love for my ex. He will always have he was my first like true adult love.
Yep.
And I don't think it takes a certain amount of X amount of years to get over that.
There's not a day where you're like, oh, I'm over it.
No, because he was such a huge part of your life,
and your growth and your, who you are. But that doesn't mean to give too much power to people of your past. It's a healthy balance of acknowledging what they have done for you and what you guys had
and your
together,
journey,
and you're moving on.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm going to start these questions in no particular order, just kind of scrolling down the feed. Is it better to block your ex after the breakup to avoid getting your feelings hurt? How do you feel about blocking, muting, any of that?
I think it's totally personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
I remember what I did. I muted for a little bit. I didn't want to block because I didn't want him to feel like I completely threw him in the trash bin and was completely done with him.
Right.
I muted it because it was something I didn't want to see. Yep. And it was for my own mental health.
I think there's so much strength and health in that, and I think the mute button's there for a reason. Right. I muted. I think it was just better for me just to not have a constant reminder, especially on social media. And you know, at the end of the day, like we've talked about this multiple times, humans kind of aren't wired to be constantly reminded of what other humans are doing.
Right.
Like that's a whole other thing. Like social media in general is just very against human nature. So especially in a time of so much growth and grief, not being constantly reminded of something is best, I think.
Right.
So no shame in that. Do whatever you got to do. Ooh. How do you manage to not lose your appetite after a breakup? This is such a good point. I don't know if you ever experience this. After every breakup I've been through, I am not hungry. I know clearly a lot of other people like relate to it, and I think it's a form of self-sabotage. You're like, oh, I'm not worthy of it. Like you kind of just don't think to like nurture yourself. After breakups is like the best time to nurture your body and like keep yourself healthy and fed so that your brains and your brain and your emotions are level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I went through a very like unhealthy 2 weeks after my breakup.
Yeah.
I didn't eat. I literally cried for hours on end. And I think, yeah, like you said, you just got to kind of remind yourself to pick back up and
take care of yourself.
Feed your body.
Yes. It's not something that you're going to want to do. It's something you need to do.
Right.
That goes for so many things after, like post breakup. It's just it's rebuild mode, and it's going to take more work than you ever can imagine, but you got to do it. Like,
yeah,
you got to start the healing right away. Don't let it consume you. Ooh, after a breakup, what do you do with all their shit?
Well, we lived together and I moved out of his house. I kind of just like literally packed up my car with everything I could. I have a funny story about...
I was going to say, if you don't mind, can you please tell it?
Yeah. Okay. So we broke up on the 14th of December. I think it was the 14th. And I packed up my car with as much as I could and I went and stayed with my parents. And I literally... like that second I was like, I have to move to LA. This was when I was living in the Bay.
Yes.
And I knew I needed a drastic change to like really get my mind going and kind of like jumpstart my process of healing. Because if I were to stay at my parents' house, I would dwell. I know it. So I knew I had to move out. So I literally was already on the phone with you. Like, I'm coming down. We're going to go apartment hunting.
Yeah.
So I had to get all of my things out of our shared place kind of immediately. So I went back like probably a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and I walk in and I'm still really good friends with who we shared the house with. It was another couple, and I was like just chatting with her, just like we were kind of just catching up, and I was letting her know that I was moving to LA. And me and my ex had 2 cats together, and they were upstairs, and I wanted to go upstairs into our old room to say goodbye to
rightfully
the cats that I had for 4 years.
Children.
Literally my children.
Yes.
So I'm keep in mind, this is like 2 weeks later, like I said.
Just happened.
Literally just happened. I'm saying goodbye. Still very much healing from this. And I walk up into our old room and I see a purse. And like piles of another woman's clothes.
Oh, motherfucker.
And I literally, I see the 2 cats on our old bed, and I like walk in, and I still see like furniture that we had bought together. Like
right, the bedspread you fucking picked out.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Literally the room arranged how we had it. And I'm standing there and like, I'm looking at this woman's items where we had a life together 2 weeks after, and I was like, okay, I literally immediately turned around and walked out.
Good.
I knew right then that we were supposed to be broken up.
Yeah. Hell
I
yeah.
knew it wasn't meant to be. It was very hard to see.
I can only imagine.
Very hard to see.
I can only fucking imagine.
I remember I walked downstairs, and my friend Alyssa, she was who I was living with, I walked downstairs and I was like, Alyssa, and she was like, I know, dude, I'm sorry.
Like she probably didn't want to like
She didn't
tell
know
you
how
to
to
not go because then
right.
you would freak out.
Right.
Like she handled it well.
Right.
As well as you could.
And I was like, I gotta go. Like, I can't be in this house anymore. I don't think I've stepped foot in that house since.
Yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
I mean, no reason to, right?
Right.
God,
But it was...
I praise you for your strength in that moment. I remember just hearing about that. Like, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know if I would have done exactly what you did or gone physically apeshit and wanted to like rip shit off the walls.
Trust me, I had a vision. I was standing there and like I had a
like a
vision of me
movie.
literally like throwing her bag and like
Right.
calling him like, who the fuck is this? But I was
Right.
like, I literally like backwards walked out of the room.
Yeah.
And I felt like I left a part of my soul there that no longer was part of me.
Yeah.
And it was time for me to go.
That is powerful and like really fucking cool. That's definitely something very common in an adult relationship. But for the listeners right now, if you're going through young adult relationships or maybe you haven't lived together, I remember my first breakup when we had each other's belongings. I like put it all in a bag and like brought it to his mom's house. Like, it's crazy to kind of see the change in dynamic. Do you remember your high school breakup, like that exchange with old things?
No, because that kind of ended abruptly, and I didn't we didn't want to see each other after that.
Right.
At all. Like I still have like a flannel of his.
Oh yeah.
Of my high school boyfriends.
Yeah.
No, there was no exchange after we broke up.
Yeah.
Still haven't talked to him since this day.
When both breakups I've gone through, like I purge everything. I can't hold on to anything. I delete pictures. I just like...
Oh, I still have everything.
And you know what? To those of you listening, like if you're like me and you delete them, I wish I didn't. And I don't know if you guys feel that way too. Like now I wish I didn't. In the moment I had to though. So like,
totally.
What are you going to do?
And it helped your growth.
It did. Like kind of what I was saying earlier about the muting, like just kind of getting it out of sight is the way I personally deal with things, whether it's healthy or not. But I get rid of everything. So I have to give everything back. My most recent breakup, we, like you guys, we lived together. So it wasn't that moment where I dropped things off at a doorstep type thing. We just packed up our own belongings and left. We broke up, but we didn't leave the house we were living in for it was like 2 weeks. Remember?
Yeah.
Because I had to go find a place. Like we were ending our lease there on top of breaking up. Like we were about to move into another house together, and it was this weird in between. Like right when we broke up, we were like, okay, like who sleeps here? Like, and then I slept there for a little bit, and like he went down to like his I think he went down to Orange County. Like it was kind of this weird in between, but it was very graceful. Like we broke up and then we physically separated, and he kind of let me have the house for a few days. We packed up everything the next day, remember?
Yeah.
We broke up that morning, and I went to your and Leanna's house, and I was like, guys, we broke up. And you guys were like, what do you want to do? Like the power of a fucking girl posse.
Oh my
the
God.
second you go through a breakup, you guys, what do you want to do? You hugged me, but like you guys didn't baby me.
Well, because we also knew there was a lot, like we knew you were going through moving out of the house.
Right.
You had Link. Like we knew that there was a lot of logistical things that needed to be figured out. And that really changes the dynamic of a breakup.
It does. Like back to like a high school breakup.
Right.
You just cry and you want to
go to your parents' house.
Right. This was like, okay, I can't sit and cry for too long. I got to get moving. Right. I got to move. I got to figure shit out. Like we have adult shit. We got to end bills together. Like imagine what it's like going through a fucking divorce with a kid and a house and a mortgage. My
heart goes out to those situations.
Yeah, it takes a village, and I'm so grateful to have you guys. But yeah, we immediately started packing up and then we got the fuck out. While we're on the topic of Link is my dog, and I got her with my ex, and I can already see there's a lot of questions asking about Link. Link is fully mine. That was established from the jump. My ex was very, very understanding that Link was my little chicken muffin, and there was no discussion.
There was no question. He brought it up. He was like, you take Link,
yeah, you
right?
gotta keep her. At first I like didn't know if I wanted to, because I knew I was gonna be moving into an apartment, and like she wasn't gonna have a yard like she had just had her whole life. But I don't know if it was selfish from like a dog lover standpoint or what, but I am so glad I kept her. And the apartment I was in for only a few months before I moved in with you and Leanna, and they have like a little courtyard now, but God, I couldn't imagine not keeping the dog. And I'm so grateful it was such an easy decision.
Yeah.
Gosh. I bet you there's people that even go to court to like fight over their dog.
There are.
Oh gosh. Okay, this one's kind of like an advice column.
Okay.
I'm unhappy in my relationship, but I can't bring myself to break up with him. I care too much. What do I do?
That's just a jump you have to make. Clearly, you know what you have to do.
There's nothing Alex and I can say that is going to catapult you other than like, you're not alone. I mean, I was even in that position at one point, and I was like, I feel like I won't leave him. Should I just tell the fucking story? Like,
I think you should.
Oh my God, there's gonna be so much tea spilled. 4 months before the breakup, at least.
At the very least.
Damn near like 4 to 6 months. A minute before the breakup, my last breakup. Alex and I were at Yard House.
Yeah, Yard House
in
Burbank.
Burbank. And we were just like having lunch for some like random reason, nothing crazy. And I was kind of in a sad mood, and I just opened up to Alex for the first time about my relationship. I think like when you're in icky relationships, it's really, really hard to tell people about it because it makes it real.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's room for judgment and speculation, and
when it's still in like just in your head, you're like, okay, maybe this is just
validate
me.
it. Yep. You just validate the shit. Oh, it's not that bad. We're just both really tired.
Mm-hmm.
We're just having a bad week, and you just validate it for weeks and then months and then years, and then it's too late, and then you're at the point where the person who just wrote in is. They know that they're not supposed to be together, but they want to break up. Anyway, we're at this lunch, and I was like, Alex, like, I'm at a point where I know we're not supposed to be together. This is crazy. I'm actually saying this because like I never even told him this. I know we're not supposed to be together, but I don't think I will ever have the strength to break it off myself, and I'll probably just be in it forever.
And I remember sitting there looking at you and just thinking, God, you deserve so much better. And like seeing that little side of you that saw it too, because I had never told
you, Leanna Bree, nobody knew that we were unhappy. To the extent that you knew. That I knew, yeah. It's like nobody knew we were that unhappy.
Right. And it was to see you open up about it made me so happy, because I was like, step one, she finally sees that there is potential for a happy relationship.
Yes.
And that was kind of like the light bulb that went off. And in my head, I'm like, okay, she's gonna, because I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
It's more than just realizing it, because it is so hard to come to terms with the fact that you actually have to pull the trigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a whole other story.
It is. And I'm sure you can agree, like, because you said you went through it too, and I'm sure a lot of you listeners have been through it. At that point of the breakup, that's when the breakup starts.
Oh, yeah.
The second you mentally check out on an individual level, like I did that day at Yard House, I mean,
you start to care less.
For lack of a better word, it's kind of downhill from there, you know? Like at that point, my brain, my subconscious, my heart, we all knew, all right, give it a little bit less so that you can wiggle out and get out of there.
Yep.
It's hard. Breakups are hard. Breakups are almost harder to actually do than the healing itself after.
Oh yeah.
It's
because the healing, you're forced. You're
forced, and it's more second nature than you think. Mm-hmm. Like you're so much stronger than you think. We all have that moment after the breakup where you're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be happy again. Love isn't real. Da da da. And I don't mean to say that in a demeaning tone, because those are all very legit feelings that the two of us have felt too. But it's like, reel it in. I promise you're going to be okay.
Yes.
You are going to be A-okay. In high school, during my first breakup, I was a wreck, obviously, first heartbreak. And I was laying with my mom on the couch, just like, like that ugly cry. And I was like, what do I do? And it stuck with me. She goes, well, if this is your only heartbreak ever, you're in pretty good shape.
Aww.
And her saying that in the moment, I'm like, fuck you. But like, I get that now as an adult, like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. And I say that with positivity.
Well,
I don't mean to be like, hey, everybody, don't get too happy because you're gonna break up anyway. Like,
no. And I think like sometimes me and you talk about how I feel like everyone has to go through heartbreak one way or another.
100%.
It makes you grow so much as a human being. Mm-hmm. And I feel like me and you, we kind of joke like that person needs to get their heart broken real quick. Because it
like
really
facts.
does. It makes people grow into be the person that they're meant to be. Your eyes open so much bigger to the world when you have gone through a heartbreak.
Absolutely. And for me personally, my adult heartbreak catapulted me into so many things, but one of the main ones being, hey, like, you were in a really long relationship, girly, and I need you to learn that that's not your love language, and you were just kind of morphing to like be someone else's love language. And how do I say this perfectly? Adult heartbreaks are, if you take them by the balls and take the healing really seriously, it's that pivotal moment where you do a lot of childhood healing, because it's facts, it's psychology. Your relationships are a reflection of your childhood, what your parents displayed as love, the way they loved you, the way you express love. Your relationships are a reflection of your just view on love, even beyond romantic,
right?
Friendship, family, blood. Does that make sense?
Totally. You kind of have to like you said, reel it back.
Yeah.
Kind of zoom out a little bit on the situation and realize that like, yeah, I was with this person for however many years, and our love language just aren't the same.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And they will find their love language and you will find yours. And it just, for me, it like, I stopped taking the breakup so personally, and I took it as a way to understand myself more.
Yeah. Oh my God. I learned so much about who I was as a person after my breakup.
I stopped being like, oh, like my heart hurts, nobody wants me. And I was like, well, hold on. Like, I'm forced to be alone right now, not only because I just got out of a breakup, but when I got out of a breakup, the pandemic started.
Yeah.
So I was alone emotionally, alone physically, mentally. I lived alone, so I didn't have roommates to like stimulate me, distract me. I was alone for a few months. And I was just like, well, got to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking hard. I was so depressed, but it just taught me so much. So,
and I feel like a lot of the times in especially toxic relationships, you very much lose yourself and who you are.
Yes.
And you think that loving someone is turning yourself into something that they want to see. And that's not the case, which is hard to come to terms with.
Yeah.
So after the breakup and after finding yourself independent again, you kind of have to rebuild who you are. Look at it as kind of like a freedom. Like you have this chance to reinvent yourself.
That's exactly how I looked at it. You're so right. It became exciting.
Yeah.
I let go of the anger. I feel like a big part of grief is anger. I let go of the anger and the resistance to change that was already happening in front of me. I let go of it and just trusted it. I felt it. It wasn't so much about action at that point. It was just like hurt, cry, let it out, feel it.
Literally purge it.
Yeah. And I did. And it felt so good. And then I was able to, like, the storm goes away.
Yeah.
And I actually remember the moment. I was at my lowest of my depression, and I was sitting on my shower floor, and I was like looking up at the top of the shower head at my reflection, like in the metal part. And I literally just like asked the universe, like, please, like, can I have a break? I send him all my love. I send him all my healing. I want him to be okay so that I could be okay, so that we could be okay. Like, I sent every part of the situation healing energy so that I could move on, because that's also a big thing after breakups, especially like cleaner ones. You worry about them too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like I feel like I'd be a monster to say I didn't worry about him after the breakup and want him to also heal healthy and have the growth that I'm having, the beautiful growth I'm having. But then it got to a point where it's like, it's not your thing to worry about anymore, which we'll get into later. But yeah, that moment on the shower floor was kind of pivotal, because I was just finally like, take my love, and like I said it like a phrase, like, let my body be like the portal of love, give and receive. Like, I was just like, please help me. And then from there, I think I started therapy like a week later, and it's been pretty solid since.
Yeah.
It's been fucking great. Okay, this next question could be a whole episode in itself. How do you learn to love yourself after toxic codependency with him? I how do I say this? I feel like we can't fully get into this, because I actually would love this topic to be another episode, but a book I can suggest, and I feel so lame preaching a book, but this book has been like my dictionary through my breakup, because I'm also very codependent. It's called Codependency No More. Shit, let me get the author. But this book changed everything.
A flip of the switch in my head when I was going through my breakup was once I started to understand that I no longer needed his approval and validation and everything that I sought from him in the relationship. Once I realized I no longer needed that, it allowed that energy to go towards loving myself. That was a big turning point in my head for me.
Yeah, absolutely. The full name, sorry, Codependent No More by Melody Beattie, Beattie. Really good book. My therapist suggested it to me, and I read it, and it makes you feel not so crazy. I feel like a lot of the codependent, codependent is such a big word. There's so many avenues of it and so many reasons one can be codependent. My reason for codependency is being raised by somebody with addiction. So it's such a specific type of codependency that the book just tackles perfectly. But again, even if that's not your type of codependency, it's a dictionary. Like, there's so many helpful resources within the book. So I just wanted to at least give that out to the person who asked that question and anybody listening. But again, I think we should do like an episode on codependency.
For sure.
I think it could be really special. I like this question. Do you guys feel like moving on and getting over someone are two different things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like how I said earlier, you don't just get over someone. You
Right.
move on from the situation.
Yeah.
But you don't just write them off as if they were never there.
Getting over someone, like, quote, get over, sounds so brush under the rug to
Yep,
me.
definitely.
Moving on is closing the door, saying goodbye, and it seems
Growing
more peaceful.
from it. Yes.
Yeah. Can you be friends with an ex if the breakup was peaceful? I feel like that's per person.
Yeah, that's all dependent.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have kept in touch with my most recent sorry, hold on. Let me re-say that. I feel like I would have kept in touch with my most recent ex. We just live far apart now, and we moved on in a different way. But he was my best friend, and I still feel like we could have that friendship.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all dependent on so many factors.
I couldn't right away, like, and that's just a general statement, like, not even for anybody in particular. I think me as a person couldn't do it right away.
Right.
Ooh, What do you do if it feels like history is repeating itself during a relationship? I think that's a sign that you got to do some growth.
Yeah.
That you're attracting the same cycle. That's, yeah, I've never thought about the one. I've never personally dealt with that.
Well, is it in the same relationship as in one relationship?
I don't know. It doesn't say, but I think either way.
Yeah.
If you, whether it's you guys keep fighting about the same things or it's a new person and you guys keep fighting about the same things, like,
right.
if you don't like it and you want to change it, then there's something deep rooted there rather than just, oh, then we'll stop arguing. Like, there's a reason you're arguing. Like, there's something deeper there. Okay. I fall in love with potential and I want to be the girl that changes him. That is such a common narrative. I even relate to that. That's kind of how I felt about Pete Davidson. I was like, I want to change him. I want to heal him. That I feel like I have like the space to kind of call you out because like same, that is so toxic of us. Like that is codependent. Mm-hmm. That's putting like their needs before yours. There's a difference between like that being your love language. Like I love doing acts of service for people and like I love that part, but it's the balance where you're like, I want to change somebody. I think that's so toxic. I think it is so important for everybody to know that you cannot change people.
Right.
Period.
And if you feel the need that if you feel like you have to change them, they're not for you.
They are not for you. You cannot claim people like that. You cannot take charge of people like that. And if that is your motive to even have that person in your life and you look at them as like a project that you want to change, that is,
you have to do some self-work.
Yes, that is not okay. That could be so bad for them, but so bad for you too. You're putting all your energy into someone else. It's just, don't even look at it as an option.
Also thinking that someone else will change for you.
Yeah.
Just like, maybe he'll change. It won't happen again. He swore he'll change. It's
don't wait for it. Don't depend on that. Like, don't let that be
your motivation to stay.
Yes, exactly. Should you break up with someone before moving to college or just wait to see what happens? This is literally
this is the epitome of all. This is why you graduate high school.
Yes. I feel like everybody fucking goes through this. This is exactly why my first love and I broke up. Like going off to college and, oh my God, are you gonna like cheat on me? Da-da-da. Honestly, like in hindsight, you're so young. Like
if you aren't so madly in love, gung ho for this for each other, and you're even questioning it, just break it off.
Just break it off. Like, go have fun in college. Like, I feel like I sound like a fucking mom, but you said it so right, Alex. There are people who stay high school sweethearts.
Right.
Literally your parents.
Yeah. And
it can work.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. But if you are unsure, then you also know.
Right.
Where you need to go. Because it's my super short show.
And go experience life. Like, you're so young and you don't want to tie yourself down so early when you are even questioning it.
Do you think you would ever get back with an ex?
No shot. I think I'm a full believer in, if it didn't work the first time, it's not going to work the second time.
I don't necessarily believe in that. Definitely not firmly. Only because my parents, my stepdad and my mom.
Oh.
So they dated when they were like middle school, and then they got back together in like the early 2000s, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
and they've been together ever since.
I guess that's different though. Like, they got together once as an adult, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I thought about my first adult relationship and I went through this healing, I don't think I can ever go back to that.
Yeah.
You know?
I get that. I mean, my answer still is the same as yours though. I kind of don't think so. I don't think I would, unless there's some, I mean, we can play the what if game all day. Some like crazy connection later where we both did all this growth and we realign, but like
right person, wrong time shit.
Right. But at least for my situations in particular, it definitely wasn't that. I think spiritually, my last relationship was a karmic relationship. So you can Google and get on to the types of relationships, but that was definitely karmic. It kind of redirected me and taught me who I'm supposed to be and where I need to be and what work I need to do on such a deeper level. And yeah, I don't know. Feeling comfortable intimately with someone after a long relationship. How was that for you?
It was okay. Yeah. I remember I had moved, it was after I moved to LA. It was several months after my breakup.
I remember.
And I was kind of seeing this guy off of a dating app, and I remember after we had slept together, we were kind of like laying in my bed, and I remember thinking, I don't like this.
Really? Yeah.
Dang. I didn't, not that like I related it back to my past relationship, but I remember thinking like, I'm not ready for this yet.
Right.
And I think after that, it took me another several months to be intimate with someone else again.
Yeah.
It's a big, if you're only intimate with one person for 5 years, that's a big step to open up that side of you again to someone else.
It's huge. My first time after, I was okay with it because I really, really liked the guy and felt so safe with him, and that we had such a strong connection. So it didn't feel too weird, but I mean, I can't deny there's definitely a moment where I was like, whoa, like, holy shit, this is, I'm learning a new body and a new
so much is different
set of preferences and just like a new scent. Like it comes down primal, like new, was it, what are the hormones that you release sexually?
Pheromones.
Yeah, new pheromones. Super weird, but it was exciting. It made me realize like, oh, like, it sounds so lame, but like there's always new dick. Like straight up, like people are like, actually I saw a few questions here. People are like, oh my God, like what if the sex was so good in my last relationship? Like, will I ever blah, blah, blah.
Human beings at the end of the day, like you're gonna find someone who could damn near do it better than the last.
Literally since my last breakup, my sex has only gotten better.
Yes.
What did y'all learn from the relationship? Anything you're grateful for?
Ooh.
I feel like we're talking so like sad
bad parts of breakup.
Like, there's so much good.
From the relationship.
Hey, there's not always something. No. That's all good.
I mean, the first thing that popped to mind was what kind of lover I want.
Yes.
And what kind of lover I am.
Yep.
In multiple versions of the word lover. Kind of like what I would expect from a different or new relationship and someone else. Honestly, if I could be really honest right now.
As you can.
I feel like I lost myself so much in that past relationship that I was in. I literally attributed everything in my life to him and what we were as a couple and who we were as a unit, that I don't remember a lot of the relationship.
Same.
I feel like I blacked out a lot of it because I wasn't a human being.
Right.
I didn't feel things how I was supposed to feel things. I didn't have my own soul, which is so sad. And I'm so happy I'm no longer in it. But yeah, my biggest takeaway from that relationship was I will never be in a relationship again where I lose myself, even an inch, compared to the miles and miles and miles of myself that I had lost.
Literally same. Like, I copy your answer. Same, beach. Okay, next one. Does it hurt to see them happy with someone else, or are you happy for them, no issues? So both of our exes are in full-blown relationships now.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, so my ex has been in 2 relationships since me.
Right.
But he did get that women's clothes that I had walked in on, her belongings, he got into a full relationship with her.
Yeah.
It was hard at first, and it's hard to see because he looked happy, but I was going through so much that I was like, are you healing? Are you really happy? But then, like you had said before, like, you kind of have to let that go because it's no longer your responsibility.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if he looks happy on social media, then he looks happy on social media, and hopefully it's real and genuine. It's hard to see. There's a lot of comparison that happens when you go through those emotions. Like, we broke up literally 5 minutes ago. Does she have something better that I don't? Like, is she something that I'm not? Is she pleasing you better than I ever did? Like, there's a lot of questions that go through your head, but you just kind of have to, like, at the end of the day, wrap it up into it's no longer me and it's her and them or whatever. And it's just, it has to turn into part of your healing process.
Perfectly said. I love that we both can relate to this, because that was also really helpful during my breakup, because like you had already gone through this and you're like, it is going to be hard. You were so straight up with me. You're like, it's going to be hard seeing him with somebody. You're not going to like it. It's not going to feel good. But it's just, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
This is the most asked question, straight up. Everybody's like, how do you feel about your ex being in a relationship right away? I don't feel anything because it has nothing to do with me. When I say I don't feel anything, I'm not going to say like it never hurt. It fucking hurt so bad.
Yeah.
I'll fully say it. It sucked dick. It was like so fucked. But then I was like, it has nothing to do with me anymore. It's not because I lacked here, or it's not about me. I almost started telling myself like, bitch, sit down, stop trying to make it about you, you know, like, don't flatter yourself. It's not about you. Like, if that's how he wants to heal, that's how he wants to heal. And kind of like what you were saying, it was so heartbreaking. Like, that moment on the shower floor, I was just like, please, universe, let this be like the one for him. Teach him how to love someone. Teach him how to fucking treat somebody right. Teach him, like, just let this be. If he is going to jump into a relationship, at least let it be
a lesson
and healthy. Let it be healthy and happy and beautiful. Not another me. That's all I finally asked for, was like, if you're going to do it again, at least, like, I wish you the best.
Right.
And I hope it actually works out so that you don't have to go through shit again. But even then, I was just like,
I felt
stop
that
trying
too.
to worry about it.
If you feel like you're going into, like, I felt like at one point he's just like recycling, like he's not healing from this, and he's covering this up with a Band-Aid, and he's literally filling a hole in his heart. And it's hard to see when you had so much love for someone. So you only like wish and hope that it is different.
Yes, exactly. But if it is or not, it's just like, we can't hold on to that. We can't worry about that. It's done. And if we keep worrying about it, if you keep worrying about your ex and how they're doing, even with empathy and like kindness, it's still keeping that energetic cord, and that's not good for either of you. Like, really try to wish them the best, sayonara, and cut it off energetically too.
I do, though. I feel like one of the big ways in which our breakups were different, even though our exes did move on so quickly, yours was so public. And it was like everyone had an opinion about it, and everyone was talking about it days before it even happened. Do you have like any insight on that?
I won't go public again. It was weird to kind of just read other people's opinions on my reality, and the way I read the gossip, it was like they were talking about a TV show, and oh my god, what happened here, oh my god, and like, did they cheat, who cheated, like it started almost turning the narrative. I'm like, wait, did somebody cheat? Because like, to my knowledge, till this day, like, I don't think he cheated on me. I don't know. Like, dead ass. I don't fucking know.
That's a big thing.
Like, that was a big question in my mind. I was like, he did move on pretty quick. Like, did he cheat? Who knows? But yeah, it was weird to see it like right when I saw him hop into a relationship, like a social media relationship too, it like made me feel so replaceable, which you already feel that way after a breakup, right? Public or not, social media or not, you already feel like, oh my God, like he's gonna find somebody new, like I'm not shit anymore to him, I'm not his world, blah blah blah. And then on top of that, to actually see like thumbnails of YouTube videos of old titles that like we had together, I'm like, damn, like I really was like replaced. And yeah, it fucking hurt. At this point, I mean, you could probably just hear it in my voice. Straight up, guys, like this episode has been so hard for us to even begin to film because I never knew when and if I wanted to talk about it public, and there's still so much I'm not going to talk about my journey with the breakup, but I'm going to be vulnerable with you. Yeah, I did fucking suck. Like, I don't care what that makes me look like, but
it doesn't make you look any certain way.
It's just it did suck, but I wanted to finally talk about it because I think I could help so many people because, like I said, social media or not, that feeling of being replaceable, don't take it so personal. That's when I started healing. I stopped taking him moving on so personally. Like it had nothing to do with me anymore.
Right.
And that's okay. Does that make sense?
Totally.
I guess I kind of touched on that earlier, how it like,
and if anything, take it as a compliment.
I mean,
like
I don't, but like I get what you mean.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But I'm so glad to finally answer that question because maybe you guys will stop asking.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That was literally, we had to scroll for minutes.
I was like, oh my God, we'll fucking get there. Just like, let it go. I'm over it, yo. Y'all should be over it too. Like, I'm over here straight vibing alone.
Should we talk about like a little bit of our aftermath of the breakup?
Absolutely. That was actually another question. Like, now what?
Yeah.
You broke up. You're getting through the motions. Like, how do you get back into the game? Like,
I remember we were on a drive and God, I think it was like probably like 4 months after your breakup, and you were like, I think I want to get on a dating app.
We were driving to PCH, right? And we were like in the hills.
Yes.
Not the Hollywood Hills. We were in like Brentwood Hills almost.
Yep.
I remember this moment, and you and Leanna were like,
yes.
What?
We were so excited because, okay, first of all, you're a fucking catch.
Thank you.
And you have such good quality photos, so your profile is just like always gonna be top notch. Then but you said that, and I'm like picturing like me setting up your Bumble, and then immediately I was like, oh my God, Kristen, you can have a Raya.
And to those of you who don't know, Raya is this like hoity-toity dating app, and like you get on a wait list and shit to get on it. And I was like, guys,
she applied and was accepted in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry.
I've been on the wait list for 2.5 years. I will never stop talking about it.
You know what? Maybe they're gonna listen one day and they're gonna let you on it. I promise. Yeah, I remember
there's
that moment
so
too.
much like fun first moments after like your first date.
Oh,
do you want to talk a little bit about your first date?
My first date was, if you're from season 1, hi. It was the blind date I went on.
Right.
My old manager set me up on it, and it was really cool. I had never been on like a blind date, first of all, and I had never been on a date.
Like a first meeting date.
First meeting, hi, I'm Kristen. Like, never in my life. Everybody I've been with until that person that I went on the blind date with was like, oh, I met you at like in public, or I met you through mutual friends, or I grew up with you. Like, there was no like, hey, I have never seen you before, and this is literally the first time we've crossed paths, you know?
Right.
So that was cool. It was really cool to see how other men work and like how other men romanticize things. We went on a picnic. Cute. And I had never done that with any relationship ever, like cute ass shit. So that was cool. Yeah, I don't know. It started getting really exciting. Like, it was like a snowball thing. I was like, oh shit, like I get to just talk to boys. Like,
right.
It was so fun. I mean, I still do. I act like I'm in a relationship. Like, it's so fun to do. And
especially when you have girlfriends who are single.
yes, I was just gonna say, like, we're all single right now.
This is the first time
Ever.
me, you, Leanna, and Bree, our group of 4 best girlfriends,
Yep.
been best friends since elementary school, you guys, and this is the first time in our lives that we are single at the same time.
We are all
And we
fucking
are
single.
literally painting the town red.
Red, purple, green, blue, every color. It's like when we go out, we can all just be like, that table of 4 is cute. Like, let's go fuck with them. Like,
Yep.
we just can, and it's so fun.
It's so freeing to like be the independent woman that you are, to have gone through such heartbreak and a crazy breakup, and just to be able to like grow up to a stranger and be like,
How you're
it's
cute.
so primal. We talk about this all the time. Like,
Yeah.
mating is such like a human nature thing, and you can just like go up to someone that you find attractive and you're like, hi, I'm so and so. I want to learn about who you are as a human being.
I love it.
Oh my God, it's so
much.
fun.
It's so cool to just, like I said, to like see how other people love too. And I use love lightly. I don't mean like in love. Just
No,
like
just, like,
express
anything.
flirting and
Right.
like mating. Like you said, back to primal. I love being single.
Yeah.
It's I think it's even better too, since I did all my self work. Now I can really just go out with the most confidence I have ever fucking had.
Yep.
Ever in my life. Ever, ever, ever. And I'm a pretty confident person, even in my lows of lows. So to feel this now, I'm like, damn, like this is empowering. Like there's no limit to the growth I will have and the person I am, the person I'm becoming. Like there's literally not an ounce of human matter holding me down. Nobody's holding me down.
Nope.
The people I'm surrounded by are only empowering, lift me up. All you guys, we all lift each other up. Like it's just fucking magical. I don't know.
It's magic.
It's literally magic. Like, oh, like back to the question, like what are things that you are grateful for the breakup? This.
Yep.
All of this right now, because none of this would happen without the breakup. Like, it's just,
Amen.
it's fucking great out in these streets.
We belong to the streets
Well, honestly,
right now.
we're literally on the streets. Fuck. Ooh. Sorry to take it back down, but battling depression while in a relationship. This shit sucks if they aren't really understanding. But this is also a very good test point in a relationship. If they can be there for you during your lowest of lows, that's a great sign, but it's also a slippery slope. And what I mean by that is going through depression while in a relationship can very easily slide you into being so dependent on them.
Yeah.
So like, I guess speaking to the partners out there with partners that are depressed right now, be there for them, but also empower them to still be individuals. You know?
Very well said.
I feel like I just had to say that. Okay, at this point, a lot of the questions are pretty redundant. I feel like we nailed a lot. As we keep saying, this is such a big topic. So if this is a part 2 you want, not necessarily like a Thursday episode, because that's, yes, but maybe like another Monday episode, we could do a big one. Because I really, really wanted to give all of us to you guys in this episode and really just help anybody going through a breakup or about to go through a breakup or whatever it is. I hope we answered a lot of things. I hope this helps a lot of people, but I feel like last word of advice, like if you are going through a breakup right now or you're scared that you're about to, I promise you, I want to hold you. I promise you, you are going to be okay.
Yes.
You are going to be so
much happier.
fucking okay. And trust the process. Feel it. Don't brush anything under the rug. It's such a common coping. I get it. We all do it. But if you can just try and really, really bulldoze through that discomfort, I promise you are doing yourself such a big favor, and you are giving yourself the biggest gift you will ever give yourself. discomfort comes growth. That is literally math at this point. That is facts. If you are uncomfortable and you work through it, and I promise you have the strength to get through it, you will just plop out right on top. I fucking promise you. Literally, we're 2 products of that right here. Like, I hope this episode helps even just one person. Like, fuck you guys. Heartbreak is probably, like, I think when I'm on my deathbed, that's going to be one of the biggest, like, things I'm going to be so grateful for in this life is,
to
like,
have gone through this.
I did it.
Yep.
Like, it's hard. It's hard on the body. I mean, some people, you could die of a broken heart. Like, that's like a thing. Like, heartbreak it's fucking hard, but, like, just watch how fucking strong you are. That feels good to do this episode.
Really does.
I'm so glad we finally did it. Stop asking. I'm just kidding. I'm also glad that I talked about my shit to finally just get it over with. Yeah.
This is like kind of the last little string that could have been tied up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you could close the door on now.
Hell yeah. Woo! Well, we hope you guys enjoyed. Again, let us know if you want us to elaborate on anything else. For those of you who don't know, we do have a Patreon now, so we will link all of that down below and on our socials at Oddvice Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. We have 3 different tiers. Go check them out. We appreciate and love your support either way, so thank you so much. We always want suggestions, feedback, anything. Like, this is all of us. It's not just us here. It's you guys too. So we do this for you. We hope you loved this episode. Hope you got something from it, and you're stronger than you think. I love you guys so much, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye. Oh my God, I'm on top of the world.